Brighton, not Liverpool, is the proof point. The days after Anfield aren't for basking in glow. They're for checking whether the habits that won a rivalry game scale against a side built to punish sloppy distances and emotional football. Brighton's shape is a laboratory for decision-making. They pass just slowly enough to invite a jump, then accelerate the instant the press exposes a lane. They turn your restarts into their momentum. They wait until you widen for one harmless sideways touch and then fire vertical when the second touch arrives late. If Manchester United truly own a template that travels, the evidence will be written into how they exit pressure, how they attack the inside right corridor, how they press the fullback wall pass, and how their set pieces value rebounds rather than romance. If the template is only mood, Brighton will strip the paint inside 30 minutes. Everything starts with exits by design. Brighton thrive in the space between a center back who wants to play and a single pivot who wants to show. They bait the pass into the 6, angle the 8 so the return is blocked, and spring as the ball travels. United's answer at Anfield, longer goal kicks, staged first duels near halfway, tight support for the second ball, cannot remain a one-night trick. It has to be a default with rehearsed distances. The center forward contests. The far winger arrives onto the second touch. The near wingback sits 5 meters behind to collect the ricochet. And the near pivot parks outside the center circle to kill the counter if the duel is lost. That simple choreography turned throw-ins and restarts into platforms against Liverpool. Against Brighton, it prevents the trap from starting at all. Every time United refuse the bait into the nominal 6 and instead play beyond the first line by plan, Brighton's fake crowd. United must then treat the inside right lane as a time drill. The first-minute strike at Anfield was not a coin flip. It was a principle. The diagonal carry from the right half space into a flat hit across the keeper is a shot that arrives before feet are set. Brighton hold higher and narrower for longer than most, which makes early release more valuable and hesitation more expensive. The visual cue is tiny and universal. When the fullback turns his head to check the winger outside, the inside right runner sprints through the corridor as the 9 pins the near center back, and the far winger delays for the cutback. 2 touches to secure, 1 to release. No extra spins. The ball should travel away from bodies, not through them. If United lean into floated crosses from a standstill, Brighton will thank them. If they keep timing the early flat finish while the line is moving, they will keep manufacturing chances that look simple because they were scripted to be simple. Pressing must be geometric rather than heroic. Brighton flip the identity of the pivot for mischief. Sometimes the player with a 6 on his back, sometimes a fullback sliding inside, sometimes the near 8 dropping short. Chasing shirt numbers presses air. United's pressure works when the first run curves to shade the pivot angle, when the jump arrives on the receiver's second touch, and when 3 bodies form a box around the fullback to remove the cheap return pass. The prize is not a crunching tackle. It is a panicked lob to nowhere that the wingback collects on the sideline. Remove the wall pass back to the passer, and the next Brighton action becomes risk rather than rhythm. The distances inside that box, 1 outside shoulder, 1 inside lane, 1 shading the vertical into the 6, should be treated like coordinates rather than vibes. When the ball pops loose, United counter in 2 touches, or force play to touch and start again. When they roll you onto the third man and you spend 20 seconds watching the ball while your back 4 retreats, set pieces demand humility and obsession at once. Brighton are famously good at turning your corner into their sprint, so United's rest defense must look like a freeze frame from training. 1 body at the D to attack the first out ball, another 5 meters deeper to slow the carrier, a third stationed outside the first pass angle near the center circle, and a 4th set wider to block the direct channel. The delivery should be flat, fast, and designed to skim the first runner while a screen impairs the keeper's path. The instruction values the rebound central more than the romance of a single thunderous header. The winner at Anfield lived on that logic. Your own corner. The same discipline applies to throw-ins, where Brighton operate like a chess player with preloaded openings. United mirrored that at Anfield. A third-man bounce to break the clamp. The diagonal switch to the far wingback when the near side crowds. The early cross delivered while the line retreats. Treat throw-ins as casual, and Brighton harvest field tilt. Script them and you steal 25 meters for free. The human layer makes the levers bite. The center forward cannot be a back-to-goal wrestler who loves winning fouls. He must be a runner who presses on a curve, darts to the first post, and empties space for the second runner. That profile opens the inside right corridor and forces a center back to choose between chasing and watching. Wingers must start narrow, close enough that a single wall pass puts them inside the box. The near pivot's job looks thankless and is decisive. Stay out of the glamour shots when United attack. Then appear as the wall the moment a ball drops. The goalkeeper's brief is not hero distribution, but calm range. Two-footed exits hit by plan. Authoritative claims when the 6-yard box crowds, and fast resets to deny Brighton the after-you rhythm that lulls opponents to sleep. Personnel does not write the whole story. It decides whether the distances arrive on time. The fail states are old and predictable. United expand in sterile possession until the channel into the 6 is irresistible. They clip hopeful balls from the touchline, instead of hitting flat and early across moving defenders. They chase attack volume in the first half and arrive tired to the second ball fights that Brighton schedule after the interval. They treat throw-ins as pauses rather than platforms. They drop floaty corners that a calm keeper clutches. The scoreboard might hide these sins for an hour. Brighton won't. So the match must be measured by repeatable actions rather than atmosphere. Count the regains within 2 passes near touch. Track United can tilt the pitch in small, repeatable ways. Every long restart that creates a duel on the logo and yields a throw-in 30 meters higher is a tiny win. Every early finish struck while the back 4 shuffles is worth more than 2 floated crosses that let defenders set their feet. Every 3-man box that traps the fullback and forces the lob to nowhere is 20 seconds saved and 20 meters gained. Every flat corner with a screen at the keeper and a runner arriving late at the back post is a loaded coin toss. Stack enough of these, and a tense match starts to look inevitable rather than fragile. There will be periods when Brighton own the ball and the camera. That is not a moral failure. It is the price of respecting geometry. United's task is to make those periods unprofitable. The distances behind the ball after their own attacks must be non-negotiable. The near center back slides toward the touchline to compress the counter. The far center back protects depth. The near pivot holds his channel, even when the temptation is to sneak forward. The far pivot shades the switch lane. If a clearance falls awkwardly, the first action is a reset or a smart foul, not a hero lunge. If a turnover arrives in a sweet spot, the first pass is forward into the runner's path, not sideways into caution. The whole point of a template is that players recognize the picture quicker than the opponent. If United keep choosing routine over adrenaline, the night that felt like a sunrise will settle into something less poetic and more durable. Early in the season, many teams perform emotion. Brighton require execution. The club can accept that challenge by making its sharpest actions quiet. Throw-ins called before the ball is fetched. Restarts hit to coordinates rather than vibes. Shot choices made with the defender's feet in motion, not planted. The center forward can accept that his greatest contribution is often opening a lane he never touches. The goalkeeper can accept that his most important save is the claim that prevents the shot. The coach can accept that the cheer line in the post-match quote is a sentence about distances, not destiny. Brighton won't flatter, they'll grade. Pass the test, and the blueprint becomes a habit that travels from Anfield to quiet Saturdays against deep blocks, where transitions are scarce and patience is the currency. Fail it, and the loop returns. Neat starts, messy middles, late punishment. The choice is not romantic. It is mechanical. It's how far a runner stands from a touchline, how early a ball is struck, how a box is formed around a fullback, how a corner is considered successful even when the first header is lost. Liverpool was the noise test. Brighton is the template test. If United protect the counter after their own attacks, keep the early shot habit, script every restart like a set piece, and hold the near pivot line when fatigue tempts shortcuts, the rebuild stops being a headline and starts being habit. The measure won't be a caption. It will be the way the team looks in minute 1, minute 45, and minute 84. The same distances, the same choices, the same calm. When that happens, the match stops feeling like survival and starts feeling like work completed. That is the quiet future on offer. Less noise, more pattern. Fewer crosses for hope, more finishes for plan. Fewer chases, more traps. Brighton will not hand it to them. United must take it by doing the simple things early, correctly, and again.